Hi, everybody. Recruiting Animal here on November 15th, 2023. Julie is here for the first time, and she doesn't know it, but I have a lot of trouble usually with the date. I'll say it's 2025, I think, last time, something like that. And usually there's nobody here to coach me. So at least today I remember.
You want to jump straight to the future. You want to get out of what's current.
Maybe, yeah. Lately it's been pretty rough in the present. Okay, so let me see. Since I've got Julie to talk to, she's new. Actually, you're a little new. So you want to tell us anything about yourself? Do you have a niche?
What would you like to know? I work in executive search.
You work for yourself?
I love executive search. And I love executive search.
Oh, you love executive search. What do you like about it?
Yes. I think I'm just going to adjust the volume a tiny bit so that we're good. I really like the fact, and it sounds, I say to people, it sounds kind of trite, but you have the opportunity to change somebody's life and possibly their family's life by offering them an opportunity they didn't know about.
Really? Okay. Usually it's not that dramatic usually when you make
but you can build up nice relationships with people. I'm sure you know that.
No, I don't know it. No, I don't. But you remember the show The Millionaire? I'll bet you don't remember that.
Yes, I do.
Oh yeah, he went around every week giving $1 million to somebody. Now I can't remember any specifics. You can see it on YouTube, but that's you make yourself sound like the millionaire. Every week you're showing up at somebody's door. I'm going to change your life. Well, once me and my partner from back then, we changed somebody's life. We recruited some secretary, some clerk, and she was so charming and appealing and smart. We brought her into a junior marketing role in a computer, I forget what they called them back then. They were like the middleman, but they were quite popular. Anyway, so she rose up through the ranks. She was making like 3 times as much money within a year. We changed her life. But generally speaking, I can't remember anybody. Do you remember someone who you changed their life? Come on.
Yes, I do.
Okay, give us an example. No names or identification, but tell us. Go ahead.
Well, it was early on in their career, and they were interviewing, and they started out in executive search, but at a very low level. It was doing research, and now they have a very senior job at a financial services company. So I'm proud of that.
In what? In recruiting?
Yes, I gave her a chance where other people didn't.
Okay. Do you recruit recruiters exclusively, or is that just happened to be one of you?
It just happened to be. I was in a job and I had to hire somebody, and she had said
she was a researcher. Is that what you're saying? She was a researcher?
Yes, she was a researcher, and now she has a very
And what was the role you put her into?
She started as a researcher. Nobody would give her a chance. What did she have
before? She moved from a researcher at one company to a researcher at another?
No, she was young. She was very young. She was early.
She didn't have a job? Was she? Look, I'm going to yell at you. That's the way we work here. Okay?
Don't yell at me.
I'm not yelling. I'm just passionate. It's supposed to be.
She was looking to change jobs. She was early in her career, and people were not. The people that I was working for were not willing to give her a shot. And I said, no, let's give her a shot. And she was fabulous. And here she is all these years later with a very senior role. So that makes me feel good.
Okay, that's one person. Could you actually name another more recent?
Yes.
Give me another example.
Yes.
Because people never come up with these. You're good for you. You came up with one at least. And I came up with one, but I can't come up with another. Go ahead.
It was about a year and a half ago, a project that I was working on with a colleague, and we had gone through, I don't know how many people. We had interviewed first person, and I knew the guy was right for the job. I just knew. But at the end of the day, the client wanted one more person. And I found somebody. It was somebody he had worked with years ago. He was looking to make a change. He needed to make a change. And it literally happened. It took a couple of months, as exec searches go. And he now has a job that he absolutely loves. He's thrilled beyond words, and it has changed his life. He has definitely a different outlook on things.
Okay, now in that case, with that original young woman that you mentioned, you
Mhm.
had to persuade the hiring manager to go with her. Is that
Correct.
right? How did you
Correct.
do that? How did you do that? Because they had rejected her already, right?
They rejected her. They were on the fence. They were not sure.
Oh, okay.
They were not
So,
sure. And I just feel if somebody has the skills and they hit many of the boxes, give them a chance. You have nothing to lose, and you can be pleasantly surprised.
what do you mean you've got nothing to lose? They hire a lousy employee.
But you find that out pretty quickly.
And what are you
In
going to do?
most
Fire
cases.
them? Fire them?
It's a lot of people get fired. A lot of people don't make it past that 90-day. A lot of people do, thankfully.
Okay,
But
well, hold
sometimes
on.
there
Well,
are
that brings
sometimes there
another-
are
Go ahead.
bad hires.
Yeah, but what about that then retention? Sorry, we have I dropped my mouse. There's an ongoing
not good.
debate. No, there's an ongoing debate if recruiters, especially recruiters like us, external recruiters,
Mhm.
have to have any kind of commitment to retention. Okay, I don't want to place somebody who doesn't. It's not just the guarantee period. I want
Of
to place
course.
somebody who works out. I don't want someone who's going to
Of
be
course.
gone in 6 months.
Everybody does. Everybody does. But sometimes there are things that do happen that are out of your control. But you do the best. I think if you do the best you can do and you gather up as much information as possible, hopefully it will all work out. I mean, no one ever knows, right? You hope, you think, you cross all the T's, dot all the I's, and we hope for the best.
Okay,
But
well
if you
that.
do enough work,
Uh-huh.
diligence, it should work out.
Okay. Well, in the old days, in my opinion, like 1 year guarantees from recruiters,
Mhm.
from headhunters was normal. Now it's 90 days. Okay.
Yep.
And the justification is I'm not there holding the manager's hand.
Exactly.
I can't guarantee that she's going to do a good job. Right. So
You can only do the best you can do. Right.
yeah,
And
okay.
if a client
That doesn't mean
re-
anything. Okay.
Well, if a client does not reveal who they are completely, or a candidate doesn't, after you've done all your due diligence, there's nothing you can do. You've done the best that you can do, gathering up all the information. That's really, you're not there holding their hands. You're not holding the client's hands. You're not there day to day for
So what's
whatever
your guarantee? So how long is your guarantee? Do you want to tell us? You don't have to. First time
No,
on the show.
I usually work with people, so no, I don't have to.
Okay. Do you want to say what their guarantees are, or what you think is a good?
No,
What's reasonable?
I think reasonable is a year, but are people being reasonable today? Hard to say. I think it's an individual case.
Okay, Mario from Sri Lanka's here. Hey, Mario. Okay, don't answer. I don't care. Okay. He's a very opinionated guy. Okay, he's not showing himself either. Okay, but hold on a second. A friend of the show, Jack Kelly. Hi, Mario. This is you know your last name's Marcus, Julie Marcus, right?
Yes.
Right. Welcome to Julie. Okay. This is Mario. I call
Hi,
him Mario,
Mario.
but his name apparently is really Mario. I don't like Mario. I like Mario. Okay. That's what I'm going to call him. And that's what you can call him, or you can choose whatever you like. But here's the thing, Julie, and Mario can listen to this too. Our friend Jack Kelly had a show this week, and he was talking about bullies at work. Okay. But you just said, you can do your due diligence. How do you know if your client, the hiring manager, is a bully? Okay, or what do you ask them? What I always wonder, how can you the culture? How do you figure that out in advance? Do you try to do that, or is it just something that's beyond our ken?
I think it's beyond our scope in a way, but I think it's hard to figure that out. Sometimes things reveal themselves in conversations.
Like anything come to
I
mind?
can't
Any
give you a
examples?
specific, but I think sometimes the way people answer, the way they act, the way they behave does reveal who they
And
are.
so will you say to your candidate, look, Betty, you know what? I just got to tell you before you go in, this guy's got a bit of an edge to him. I just find him personally a bit aggressive.
I would never say that, but I would counsel a candidate when they go in on things, how to present, what to say, how to present themselves, things they should focus
but
on.
you've talked to your client, and you just said you get an idea, an impression of what that
I just
person's
answered
like.
it. I just answered the
No,
question.
I'll come pass by. Mario, did she answer the question? I don't like your haircut, by the way. Okay. Julie, I don't know you well enough to comment, so don't worry about it. Okay.
You're on mute, Mario.
Wait, why don't you like my haircut? What's wrong with it?
I don't
got the
know.
approval of
I
the
just
wife.
don't like it. I don't like it.
Oh, you like the
Just
wavy hair
leave
look,
it at that. Okay. Here's the thing. I would tell the person, look, this guy, Fred, I don't know if you're going to like him. This is my impression.
But there's a way to say it.
What way is that?
Wait, that's a total
There's
360.
a way to say things. That's all. You don't want to scare a candidate, but you want them to be informed.
Okay.
So how would you pass the message to someone?
Depends on the circumstances. But I'll say, you know, if somebody is more rigid or they're this or they're that, I will tell somebody, a candidate.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I'll ask them their managerial style. I'd say, are you a micromanager? Nobody ever wants to admit to that.
Well, no one ever
Okay.
is going to answer that question about the
That's what I
managerial
was thinking.
style.
You think anyone's going to give a direct answer for that animal?
No, they
Well, I'm
don't.
a micromanager.
Okay, but there are some ways suggested I've seen to talk around it, you know, to find out how do you follow, how do you what kind of
Of
reports
course.
do you want, you know? I like daily reports. I'm not a micromanager. I like them to report 2 times a day, you know. So you caught them that way.
There's a way to ask the question to get answers that you're looking for. And sometimes you just don't get answers until you're further down the road. And sometimes people are very good actors.
Okay.
You hope that's
that
not
makes
the
sense.
case, but
Okay. You know, I was going to introduce the show. I thought I would be by myself for a little while, but I'm happy that I'm not. But I'll throw this out to you two as well. There's now a theory about, you know, music. If music stimulates dopamine, which stimulates your prefrontal cortex, so that makes you more productive. Okay, but extroverts and introverts are different. Extroverts are naturally unstimulated or understimulated. Let's put it that way. So they like music. For a strong introvert, it will be distracting. Okay. So most people are in the middle, they lean one way or the other. Okay. But if you're an extrovert, you might like AC/DC, real hard driving music. That will help you work.
Yeah.
you want heavy metal banging in your head.
Yeah. But
No, I
more
don't
of
think
an
AC/DC
introvert-
ain't here heavy metal, right?
Excuse
They say
me?
Yeah.
hard rock.
Yeah, hard rock,
AC/DC
heavy
is not
metal.
heavy metal. Yeah, hard
are
rock is
they-
cool. I mean,
who's Highway to
awesome.
Hell? Is AC/DC Highway to
Oh,
Hell?
AC/DC, yeah, obviously. That
Okay.
took me all night long.
Okay, but then
Back in black.
introverts like if they're going to have music, or if you tend towards introversion, you're going to like ambient music. You know, that vague mood music in the background.
Soft
Okay.
Like lo-fi beats.
Okay, so you already told us that you're like an extrovert and you like the hard music. Is that right, Mario?
I like everything. That's the
Okay.
weirdest part about me. I like every damn thing on the planet. Play a flute, I'll enjoy the tune.
Julie, do you want to comment on that? Do you like working with music?
I usually keep something on in the background. It could be an interview or a conversation. I keep a little bit of music. Depends what's going on. Depends how much I have to concentrate on something.
Okay, well, here's
Julie,
the
can I
thing.
ask you a question? Sorry,
ahead.
Animal. What exactly are you into? External recruiting? You're running a firm?
She's a
Internal-
headhunter. She's a
I
headhunter.
Headhunter.
I do executive
that explains
recruiting, but I've been both in-house and external.
Oh, you
Okay,
have?
that
Oh,
explains it.
okay. He
Yeah.
got that. I didn't ask that question. Thank you, Mario. Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay. But there's something else about the music. If you're going to use music, it's supposed to be music that you've listened to so many times that you're really not going to pay any attention to the beat or the lyrics. Okay. I just think this is important stuff. It could be important, right? When you have to feel like you need a little something to help you get going, you can use music, but if you want to use it the right way, that's a tip. Okay. Do you have any topics that you want to talk about,
No,
Julie?
actually, based on what you said, actually, I think it's a pretty good idea. Imagine you're cold calling a prospective customer and you have some nice lo-fi music in the background, like maybe some good jazz.
Versus Meatloaf.
I'm a Meatloaf fan, okay?
So
Die-hard
am I,
Meatloaf
but
fan.
I don't know. if
Oh,
that is-
awesome. Julie, we got to connect on LinkedIn, okay?
Well,
And
here's the
Facebook.
thing. Here's the thing. This relates also though to remote work from home as opposed to work in the office. I used to work in a boiler room and I couldn't stand it. It was just too aggravating. I didn't want to hear what other people were doing. It's so much better working on my own. I don't know if I'm an introvert or not, but that's what I like.
It's
Okay,
a
but
work style.
they say that
True.
extroverts, they're going to like working in the office because they're, as I said, understimulated naturally. They need
Yeah.
the external noise and stimulation
Yeah.
to get them going. Okay.
I totally agree with you. I need to be in an office.
Yeah.
I can't work from the house. I get nothing done. Okay,
Oh,
with my
wow.
3-year-old, no chance. But
Okay.
no way.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There needs to be a gap, a separation between home and office for me. Okay,
Okay.
I'm not that mature to be able to handle both at the same time.
Well, it's not a matter. I'm telling you, it's not a matter of maturity. It's just what kind of brain you have. Okay. Julie works from
Okay.
home. I can tell you're working from home, right?
See,
Mhm.
I'm going to sound really
What?
bad right now. See, ladies tend to be better at managing their emotions, putting things in blocks and managing things. No offense meant. So they can work from
I'll
home.
let the woman comment on that. I don't know if it's
I
true.
Am I
think it's
correct,
more,
Julie?
I think, and I tend to think, well, I think there's both. Women can segment things, but I think men also do it in a different way.
That's true.
Well, anyway, finish
But-
your thought. Go ahead. Is there
No,
something you
so-
wanted to say?
So yeah, I think mostly men can't work from home. We need to work from an office.
I
Unless we're
told you
introverted.
I don't like the office, okay?
You're an exception to the rule.
No, I'm not. Does
I
Rich?
think it depends how much structure somebody needs. Some people really having a true separation of work and home is very important to them.
True.
Other people, their separation could be just shutting their office door at home.
See,
Okay,
we're
yeah, that makes
fanboys
sense.
for Rich Rosen here, Julie, just in case you didn't know, okay? He
Yeah, he
makes $1 million a year. At least that's what he tells us. And he works from home. It looks like he's in his basement. It's dark
Good for
there.
him.
It's
for him.
ugly.
Good for him.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't want Mario telling me that men have to work in an office.
No,
with
I
other
didn't mean that
people.
way. I said, okay, personally for me, I need to work from an office. Okay, I can't
Okay.
work from home.
But here, I'm going to say something in your
My wife
favor.
can work from
Rich
home,
always,
okay?
give me a second, okay? Rich always
I
has
don't
a
want to give you a
TV.
second.
He always has a TV going. He told us. Okay, he needs that stimulation. He says he's with ACDC.
He's got
ADHD. ADHD.
ADHD.
That's what he says. Okay,
You've got to get your acronyms right.
that was deliberate.
ACDC.
Okay, I am
Next
a
time
funny
next
guy.
time
That was
Rich
a joke.
comes on the
Okay.
show, I'm gonna ask Rich, okay? Rich, I heard you got ACDC. What happened? Did you plug yourself into a PowerPoint or what?
Okay. Julie, do you have an issue do you want to talk about, or should I move on to my next issue? Do you
Go
have an
ahead.
issue, Julie? Okay.
Other than I've been looking for a job, no, that's my only issue today.
Oh, you're looking for a job? Well, put it out there. Okay. What are you looking for?
I'm looking to do internal executive search.
When you say
So you
internal
want to work
executive
for
search, what does that mean? What does that mean? Okay,
Corporate.
but when you
She
say
wants more
executive
corporate.
search,
Excuse me?
I don't know. He wants to interrupt me there. Go ahead, Mario. You
No,
you
I
first.
I said she wants to move into corporate and work internally to hire directors, VPs,
Is it-
CEOs, those
That's
kinds.
it. What level? When you say executive search, what level are you referring to?
I've only done, depending on the company, director level and up.
Okay.
Okay.
Usually
Okay, what-
C-suite.
What kind of money are we talking about?
For them,
Yeah.
it could be a few $100,000 a year, depending on what the organization is.
Okay. And then it's a question I'd like to ask. Is there a difference recruiting people at that level from recruiting people who are earning, let's say, 80 or 100?
Yes.
Like what?
Well, it depends on the structure of the organization, because somebody could be the most senior on a leadership team and it's only directors. Somebody else can be senior leadership, say, at a media company, and the leadership team, it's the EVPs or the C-suite. So I just prefer
Sorry,
senior
did you
level.
answer the question?
Yes.
Did you answer my
You did.
question? No. How difficult is it to recruit people? Like if you're an external recruiter and you're working on a commission, you're going to make a lot of money for someone who's earning a few $100,000 a year. But if
Depends,
you're earning, why do you say that?
because every situation is different. Some
know,
things
you-
are easy to recruit for, some things are not. If you're internal, there's a different structure as far as the approach and whatever. If you're external, you're acting as a different kind of agent.
Okay, you got a buddy here now. David M. Marr is
I know. David
he's
was the one
passing-
that recommended you.
Oh, he's passing notes that I am black and white because I like a straight answer, everybody. I don't like these wishy-washy people, okay? I like, yeah, if I'm placing people who are making $400,000 a year, I'm going to make a lot of money, okay? That's pretty straightforward. You know what? You've got an accent just like Jeff Newman, by the way. Do you know Jeff? Julie? No?
The
Okay, well,
actor?
don't give me that nasty look. No, he's a
I don't know.
recruiter.
I'm
He's a
from New York.
recruiter. Very nice guy, very smart too. Okay. David and Mar, as usual, we say he's up in heaven. He doesn't like talking. He does. We don't get to see him. Okay, here's a problem. Okay, well, you didn't finish telling us. So you want a job, a corporate job for senior positions. Anything else that we should know about that? Your last name, I'll give your name out again. Is that okay?
Sure.
Julie Marcus, is that right?
Yes.
Marcus?
Yep.
Right. Okay. Anything else about you that you're on LinkedIn under that name?
Yes. I'm pretty
And you're
agnostic
in New York.
to my work.
You're in New York, right?
Actually, I'm not. I'm in Raleigh.
Oh,
North
really?
Carolina. Yes.
Okay. But that's not, you come from New York. Am I
Yes.
right about that?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Wait, how do you spell
Okay.
Julie?
Julie.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay. And
Understood.
okay, so but also what about since you're corporate, but you want to work remote or do you want to work in an office?
I prefer remote, but I could do hybrid.
Okay, so that would mean that you someplace local, but it doesn't have to
Local,
be.
or I could travel 2 days a week.
Okay. Well,
It's not.
oh, really? Okay. Okay.
As
Anything
long
else?
as long as it's a realistic travel. You said
Okay.
to me you're going to Seattle. I don't think Raleigh to Seattle is really
Okay.
it's
Okay.
a little tough.
Okay. 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 Here's a problem. This guy says, I presented a candidate to the hiring manager. I told her the salary the candidate wanted. The hiring manager brought her in, liked her, wanted to hire her. When the offer came through, though, HR got involved and they insisted that the candidate be offered less than she said she wanted. Okay. Who was at fault there? Did the recruiter make a mistake by not figuring out who the ultimate decision maker or how many stakeholders were involved? Anybody want to comment on that? I'm not. I think the recruiter got blindsided, and I would have got blindsided too. I don't usually say, "Hey, you're the hiring manager. Do you have to get this approved by somebody?" But I guess that's what I should have done. Anybody else want to comment?
It probably should have been some kind of discussion beforehand.
Yeah. Okay. David and Mar. Okay, I have to read.
But
what
that
it
does
says.
happen.
I
I
would
mean,
see
it
what
does
their
happen.
contract says. What does that mean, David and Mar?
Contract.
Come on,
is
like-
I
If
guess
it's an
he's referring
agency-
to if they're internal or external.
Yeah, if they're an agency recruiter and you get blindsided by HR, whatever your contract term states is what you would go by.
No. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Okay. I'll
So-
just tell you, that was a moronic statement. Okay. That was stupid. You tell me you prove that it isn't.
So it's not. First
Yeah,
off,
everyone's informed.
no. So first off, if you ever, I mean, you're an agency recruiter, you know this. You have a contract in place with the clients you support. So the contract states X, Y, Z, whatever it is. So in the clauses that you should have in your contract, you should have something that articulates the offer process and makes it so everybody's on the same page.
What does that mean? Be specific. It's so general. It's meaningless to me.
It was
Okay.
pretty specific.
Well, then you
If
spell
the
it out for me, dear. Okay. What does it mean? I want to
contract says
find
that the
out how many people are involved in the decision making. Okay. And I guess the best thing to do is ask that question. That's the lesson. Okay. I think I'm speaking to the hiring manager. She's the person who's in charge. Okay. But then I have to say, is there anybody else going to get involved when we come to make the offer? I think that's the solution, a simple solution.
It
Anybody-
depends on the environment. It's very simple. It could be somebody, the hiring manager may say, and I think, David, you might agree with this. The hiring manager may say, oh, we want to pay them $4, but they're a really fabulous candidate. And somebody from above gets involved and says, nope, we have the budget to pay them $9. And let's go with the $9.
Okay,
Not
we're
uncommon.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what kind of? I don't have the numbers down here. Okay, Mario, did you want to say anything about that?
Nothing,
You agree with me?
nothing. No,
No, you.
I don't like HR basically. So
Yeah.
No,
well,
but that's why I figured HR wasn't involved. You're talking to the manager directly. That's just the ideal
Yeah, but-
thing.
see, the problem is in some companies, right? HR has more leeway than the manager. And no, I'm not playing Mario Kart. Okay.
Okay. This guy said, here's somebody, he said, I fired my client. Okay. They knew what my candidate wanted, but when they made the offer, they lowballed him. He said, I tried to convince them, okay. They tried to convince him. The company went to the candidate and said, look, this is a great opportunity for you. Don't worry about the money. Okay. It's worth more than the money just to work for us. Okay, this guy said, I'm not working with this company anymore. Does anybody agree with that external recruiter, or would there be another way to handle it? Nobody wants to talk about it?
mm,
Okay.
What morons handing out lowball offers? What do you expect?
yeah. Pay people what they're worth.
Okay, but how do you avoid?
Exactly.
Could that have been avoided? Since everybody says, okay, you should have checked with the hiring manager about all the stakeholders. What about this situation where you go in, you say, my candidate needs 135, they offer 125, okay? And they know that he needs 135 from the start, okay? Is there any way to circumvent that
That's-
lowballing?
You can't, because that's in their nature. And the irony of the company statement is saying, don't worry about the money, but they are worried about the money.
Okay, Julie, there's
Makes
nothing
sense?
to be done. You're just going to get, in this case, blindsided. There's nothing you can do.
yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
I think I hate to say it. It depends. I mean,
Depends.
every
Do you have any
situation-
other words? I mean, I
Every
don't like
situation-
that.
well, a lot of things I
Depends.
don't like either, but it is what it is.
Okay, well, I
Um,
won't ask Dave because Dave will say
Oh,
the
yeah,
exact same thing as you. Okay, it depends. He brought you
Well,
here as his
because
mouthpiece.
every
He
situation
brought you here as
is
his
different.
mouthpiece, so he doesn't have to say those things that make me mad. He's going to let you say all of them.
Oh, I don't get people mad.
You're making me mad. Okay, you're making me mad right now.
Well,
Okay.
that's a false mad.
Animal, you are very short fuse.
Oh yeah,
So-
I am. I told her
He's
when we got
honoring.
on. Okay, but
Your
if she-
fuse is microscopic. Okay, it's that short.
yeah, that's right.
If it
Okay.
doesn't fit in the box, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
No,
Okay, here's something else though. What if the client tells you, you know what? I want to hire your candidate, right? She's asking for 135. I am going to offer 120. Okay. Should you say to your client, I'm not going to present that offer to her. That's an insult. Okay. Should you walk away from it at that point, or should you try to coax them and then let them go ahead and make that offer? What should happen if they tell the recruiter, I'm going to do this, I'm going to lowball them? Anybody want to address that?
So I recently, a friend of mine had to hire somebody for a very odd job. And the woman who had been in the job was there for a very long time. She was making a nice salary. And so they were interviewing, they found somebody that was perfect for the job because it is such an odd job. It's in the not-for-profit world. And the woman said what she needed. It was in line with what the previous person who retired was making. Leadership said, well, we only want to offer X, offer her that. And my friend was really upfront about it and told the candidate, look, this is all they're going to do. She told her leadership she's not going to take the job. Well, the woman didn't take the job. The job is still open. Leadership is hell-bent on this particular number. They have now wasted 4+ months with an open role that is vital. It wasn't a huge amount of money, but they would have gotten the person they wanted, and they would have gotten that money back in spades.
Not
Because-
only that, you said it was a very odd kind of job. I've been in that situation too, where
Yep.
you find somebody like a needle in a haystack, and
Yep.
when you go back to them, they say, oh, well, we can't interview for 4 weeks or some stupid thing like that. In this case, though, you didn't give us all the details that are relevant here.
I may not know all the details.
Okay, well, we're talking about a situation where the company says, Yeah, bring her in. She wants 150. Bring her in. I want to interview her. But then they surprise you at the end, and decide to go lowball.
But really,
And-
they lost out because they've had this now open role for 4 to 5 months.
Okay, but did they surprise the recruiter by saying
It wasn't a recruiter; it was their own internal person. It wasn't even a recruiter.
Oh, okay.
She was
Wow.
Yeah.
David M. Marr, do you want to set me straight on this one?
Yeah,
What you-
they
what
thought by just posting on LinkedIn they were going to get all these candidates, and I was like, no, you're not.
Seriously, I swear that's the dumbest thinking of any damn C-suite executive on the planet.
Yeah, I want to
I
say
spoke
hiring
to-
managers are the dumbest people in the world, but we don't know who was involved in that one. Okay.
It wasn't
David
a
M. Marr-
hiring manager; it was leadership. It was
Yeah, I heard you. That's what I said. They
it
were.
was
it
their
wasn't-
CEO, and he's a combo of CFO, HR, and they were hell bent. But meanwhile, the CFO is getting paid a lot of money, which they really can't afford, and wouldn't spend the extra. I don't even know what it was. I don't know if it was $10,000 or $12,000 to get the person. Short-sighted.
budget. Okay. Yeah, David M. Marr still passing notes, but he won't answer my question about what do you do when they bring your
Well,
client in.
actually, it was in the budget.
Okay.
answering
Oh, okay.
Dave's question.
Fine. Yeah.
They had the number in the budget. They just didn't want to pay it. They wanted to get somebody on the
Stupid cheapskates. Okay. And if you were an external recruiter, I would go nuts on those guys. You stupid people. Okay. Okay. Here, what if the candidate gives you a range? Okay. I'll take 150 to 160 or 150 to 170. I mean, I'm going to, and the company comes back with the exact bottom of the range. Some recruiter said that is an insult. Okay. It's a very bad sign for the candidate. They maybe shouldn't go with that company. Anybody agree that, if they give you the bottom of your range, it's bad. Don't take that job if you're not desperate. Anybody?
No.
Nobody's got a comment.
It's in the range for a reason.
Yeah, but it's the bottom of the range. Nobody wants the bottom. Okay, the middle is what you're looking for. No.
It also depends if they had the budget for it.
They brought the person in. That's my point. They brought the person in. Okay. They should have told the recruiter then, look, if they don't have the money for 170 and 150, yeah, we'll bring her in. But if we like her, it's going to be the very bottom of the range. Okay. Now, that reminds me of something I want to point out. Amy told us. Do you know Amy, Julie? She's great. Okay.
I know Amy. It may not be your Amy.
Okay. She's a fighter. Okay. And I was surprised how she handles, Macbeth. That's right. Here's Lady Macbeth is what he's saying. Okay. Here's how she handles. She said she always tells the candidate, this is the bottom. This is the bottom of the range. I can guarantee you won't get any less than that. So she prepares the candidate for the bottom of the range. I guess that solves that problem. Am I right? But it doesn't pull them in like you want to say the top of the range, so they'll get excited, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
People want to know that they're wanted.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's why that other recruiter said, if they give you the bottom of the range, that means they're not that excited about you. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's a weird world.
It's too bad Richie Rich isn't here. I'll take this up with him another time. Okay. But he always said, if someone is moving for money, that's their only reason, they are going to make you cry. I never agree with that. Okay. And here's I saw an example this week that I want to relate to everybody. And Julie, if you find the show is oppressive, you're not having fun, just tell Dave, I don't know why you sent me here, and you can leave. Okay. I won't be insulted. It's not for everybody. Okay. I know that. So I'm just letting you off the hook. Okay?
I needed a couple of giggles, so it's okay.
Okay. Dave's not laughing. He's always got that big dumb smile on his face and passing notes around in class. Okay.
That's
Here's
right.
the thing.
I'm in heaven. You forgot.
Yeah, you're in heaven. When did you leave heaven?
Notes on papyrus.
Yeah.
Like those angels write it out, right?
Yeah, it's like Belshazzar's feast. There's that handwriting on the wall. Maybe you guys aren't. Okay. Okay. Here's this guy said, I've been in this job for 7 years. I had good reviews every year. I wanted a raise anywhere from 5 to 7%. Okay. The senior people in the company, not my manager, the senior people, the leaders, like Julie said, term I never used myself. Okay. It's too glorified. The leaders didn't want to give that money. Okay. So he went to a competitor and got a raise of 23%. 3%. Okay.
Good for him. I hope he's happy.
Yeah, but that's a good move. I think it completely proves Richie Rich wrong. Okay. And I don't know if I think the idea is if it's just money, then it's easy for the current employer to come back with a counteroffer and match it. They're not going to match that amount of money if they're so cheap. Okay. Julia, do you agree with Rich or do you agree with me? Okay. You don't
I
have
think
to have
it depends someone's motives for wanting to move jobs, switch jobs.
money. Is money a good enough
Money
motive?
is a big factor. So I have former candidate, now friend, was switching from the for-profit world in sales to the not-for-profit world to do development. Same skill set, just different product. And she had to start, basically give up money to go and do it. So she started at a company very well known, not-for-profit, and was making like nothing. And she paid her dues and she wanted to be paid more money. She asked for a raise, didn't really get what she wanted. And she was approached by another not-for-profit in a similar area, and her salary more than doubled.
Okay, and that's a good move.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And it's hard to say that, oh yeah, she's going to give any account. They come for a counteroffer, she's going to accept it. No way. They're not going to pay her that much.
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
but they did. So, I think everybody's situation is different. What motivates somebody may not motivate somebody else.
Okay. I hear what you're saying differently than you're saying it. You qualify, you're like everybody else. You never say anything real clear. I'm going to say something clear. You just gave me agreement. You said, yes, moving for money can be a good reason to move, even if it's your only reason.
Yes,
Okay?
of course.
Good. Yeah.
Obviously.
Okay. I keep forgetting when we used to have we got the grid, but when we were on Zoom, you could see what we were all doing, Now you can only see if you talk. So I have to talk while I put my fist up in the air. Yeah. Okay.
Pump that
Okay.
fist down.
Okay. What about this one? The guy's doing business development, the recruiter. He actually gets someone on the line when he calls. He gets the CEO on the line. And the CEO is not the friendliest person in the world. The recruiter says, I specialize in marketing, tech, and design. So the CEO doesn't say, oh, we don't need anybody or we don't use recruiters. He said, we need an HR person and we've been looking for 30 days. What do you have for me? Okay. This guy doesn't work in HR. So he started asking him for details about the job. And the guy said, you're wasting my time, and hung up on him. Right. So apparently the recruiter was willing to do a search outside of his usual niche. Sounds like he was desperate.
It's okay to go outside. It's okay to do that on occasion. It just expands your skill set.
Well, the question here is then the guy wanted somebody immediately, okay? And this guy didn't have any. So what kind of strategy what I was suggested to him, what he should have done is ask the CEO for the title and the money and says, if I have somebody, I'm going to check out. If I have somebody, I'll come back here. Not admit that I don't know anybody offhand. Just get a tiny bit of information because he wouldn't give him any more. Just ask for a tiny bit.
Information is power, but at the same time, most people, if they were to be really honest, don't have candidates sitting in their back pocket for an exact job. They know of people that are looking, that are this, that, but if they fit that specific thing, that's unusual. That takes a little bit of work.
Well, that raises another question that I've got somewhere here on my list for today. Okay. Are people hiring us as external recruiters for our networks, for the people we know, or for our ability to do a good search? Okay. So lots of people say, look, I work this niche. Gavin is, you don't know Gavin Johnson. He specializes in having a very tiny niche and knowing everybody who works in that niche. Okay. Yeah. He's in the UK. What difference does it make, David M. Marr?
Giving me context.
I don't know why that's an irrelevant context. He's trying to screw me up. That's what he's trying. Nobody can see that he's talking to me secretly down there in the notes. Okay.
Oh, I can see the messages on it.
We
I
see
think it's
them.
yeah. Okay. No. But it doesn't come out in the recording, and I have to tell you,
Oh.
millions of people
Oh.
are going to be watching this on YouTube. Okay.
You
Not
can
just
count the
us.
millions on your fingers, right?
Yeah, millions, like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. Okay, but here's the thing. I think Gavin's got an interesting strategy. It doesn't matter what country you're in. You get a very narrow slice. Mind you, he's working contract jobs. I think that is the more significant context. Okay, mostly content, and he knows everybody in that field. And unlike me, but more like you, Julie, he builds relationships with people and gets to know them and makes friends with them. Okay, so he gets lots of information from them. He knows what's going on, right? So if somebody says, I need a person in HR, and he's working in HR, he'll know a bunch of people he can call right away. Okay, but I don't know if he would take a job outside his niche. I think this recruiter should have said, well, it's probably not something I'm going to get, but I'll ask a quick question. Oh, here he is. What questions? Okay, Rich came just a minute too late, but not too late for me to dump on him. Okay.
Hey, Rich.
I want you to meet Julie. Okay, Rich. We've built you up here. Okay.
Hi.
What do we get?
Built you up. I told her. Okay, there's two things I discussed about you. Okay. Didn't Mario say that only losers work at home? And I said, what about Rich? I said,
Hey,
what
I
about
never said-
Rich?
I just said we can't work from home.
Yeah,
Which is an exception.
there you
Okay, let's be a.
Okay.
How do you put words in my mouth?
yeah.
That's what you said. I got
That's
Julie here to
well
back me up. Julie,
Jesus.
didn't he
Rich, go
essentially
and listen
say
to the
that
recording,
good
okay?
recruiters don't work at home? And I
I
said,
plead the
Richie
fifth.
Rich works at home.
I'm going to
Okay,
kill you, animal.
Rich,
I swear
I'm
to God.
teaching Julie our culture here, okay? How to make a bold statement, okay? No, nothing wishy-washy. Dave brought her. He's her mentor, and I'm changing her to I'm going to be her mentor,
Oh,
okay?
God.
On how to talk on a show.
Oh, God is an understatement.
Okay, but Rich, we just destroyed you, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, and
Can't
this is, yeah, this is how, okay? Rich always say, I'll go over it again. Don't work with someone who just wants to move for money. They're going to make you cry like a baby, okay? And I said, that's not true. And then this guy told a story. He's been at a company for a number of years, doing a great job. He gets great reviews. He asked for a raise, 5%, 7%. The higher ups in the company said, no way. Finally, he went to a competitor, 23% raise. Don't tell me that wasn't a great reason to make a move.
Yeah, well, he was moving because it wasn't the money. They pissed him off. He wasn't happy there. They treated him with no respect. There's
Don't
a
give me
big
that.
difference.
It was the money.
There's a
It was
big
the money.
There's a big difference for leaving purely because of money, or leaving because you're not valued or there's no respect. And everyone knows if you stay at a company for too long, you're underpaid. That's a fact.
They were giving him great reviews. Okay,
Big
Rich is trying to
Big
twist this. Okay,
Deal. Big deal.
that's what I say. Big deal. He wanted money, not respect. Okay, and
No.
then Julie.
The money
I won't
is
be-
the respect. And for him, unfortunately, when you've been in a company for a long time and you're getting these great reviews, why wouldn't they give you a raise? Company was ridiculous in the fact that they were not promoting him. They were not giving him more money. Retention is far cheaper than hiring. And they should have done it, but they didn't.
Julie, I'm just showing you how people are. They won't tell you. They won't agree with you. They won't make a statement. But he just told us
They're
moving
making
for
you
money.
work for it.
Moving for money is good. Okay. And Julie told us a story too about this woman she knows who worked her head off at this nonprofit, and they wouldn't give her a raise. She left for another nonprofit that approached her for a good, substantial raise. That is
You're
a
right.
good
But
reason.
They're not moving because of the money. They're moving because they didn't get the respect of the company.
I don't
there's
know
a
where
big-
he's getting this.
There's
He's
a
sticking
big
to it.
difference for someone that's just,
He
hey,
can't
listen,
let me win. Okay. That's all the
you're wrong.
motive. is.
As usual, you are absolutely wrong. Dave, you agree, correct? I know Mario agrees.
Dave's
So,
really,
yeah.
he's too close to God today. Dave can't answer anything. Okay.
And Dave agreed.
Exactly. Animal, you
There
can't.
is a definite connection between respect and money.
There absolutely is. But if someone tells you, hey, I call you up and say, hey, you're interested in looking, no, unless there's more money, that guy's just he's gonna burn you at the end. If the guy's like, listen, they're not giving me a raise and I've done all this work for him, that's a lack of respect. That's different reason. Thank you, Animal. You are welcome.
Yeah, no, I keep forgetting people can't see. I like talking with my hands and my face, my expression. So I don't always say it, but I was just going like, no, it's wrong. It's wrong. Oh, Rich, let me bounce then another one off that we talked about. Okay, here, this guy, the recruiter brings in a candidate. We're going to see what the great man says, okay? Brings in the candidate. The candidate says, I need 135 to 150, something in that range, okay? Yeah. And the hiring manager loves her, okay? But then at the last minute, when the offer's coming, HR gets involved and decides to lowball her around 120 or something like that. The recruiter is blindsided. We discussed it. I had to agree that the recruiter didn't ask all the right questions about who's involved in the decision. Was that the answer?
No, I mean, the recruiter should have gone back to the hiring manager and been like, Lou, we got to fight for it. It's your ass on the line. It's your bonus. It's your commission. It's your draw, whatever. It's your number that this person's supporting. I mean, you're going to lose her for 15 grand, $1,000 a month, $5 a day, whatever the hell it works out to. That's how you're going to go fight it.
So you're saying what you have to do is go back to the hiring manager and get the hiring manager on your side to fight HR? Yeah, you think that can actually happen?
100%.
I think it's giving them the case to show why, and it's using the numbers on a monthly or a daily basis.
Exactly. I mean, if the manager's not going to fight for it, then what are you going to fight for? There's no point. If he's not going to put because they're going to go back to the HR is going to go back to the manager, or the VP over that guy is going to go back to that guy and goes, hey, is so and so worth it? He's going to be like, I don't know, and then you're screwed. So why would you? You got to go with the guy with the pain.
Okay, I admitted, Rich. Okay, that's why I call myself Julia a mediocre recruiter. Okay, I'm not up in heaven like David M. Marr. I'm not a superstar like Rich or Mario. Okay, but I would have walked into that trap. Okay, and I believe that was the fault of the recruiter for not checking. Nope. And maybe the hiring manager didn't realize that was a possibility either. Okay,
you can only ask so many questions, right? And you can only it's rare you're going to get every answer from every point of the interview process. It just doesn't happen. Everyone likes to say they do it. It doesn't happen. The end of the day is your goal is to make your hiring manager look good, and you need to give him the tools to succeed sometimes, whether they know it or not. Like all good sales guys, they educate their buyer. And that's what you got to do in this case.
Okay. I think it's hopeless, but maybe Rich knows and I don't. Okay. Now we've got Julia's looking for a corporate job. Okay. She's worked inside, outside. She's looking for a corporate job, but she's worked inside. Dave has too. So we've got a lot of a big range of expertise for this question. Okay. Here's the thing. The guy says, external recruiter says, my candidate is at the offer stage of a $350,000 to $400,000 job. Julie's told us she works at that level as well, director level. Okay. The hiring manager has been great with the candidate. There's bi-weekly calls. They talk about the company issues, but the client won't get back to me with direct feedback. That means the client won't talk to the recruiter. He gets his feedback only from the candidate, and then he sends notes to the hiring manager, the client, and says, the candidate told me this, the candidate told me that. Okay. So he says, obviously the client wants me at arm's length, doesn't want to work with me all the time. Okay. So anybody, should he just go with it? He doesn't have much of a choice at this point. There's a lot of money riding on it. Or should the recruiter be doing something? Is it a bad sign that something bad might happen down the road? Anybody want to take that on?
Yeah, it's a horrible sign something bad's going to happen down the road. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you don't have a choice though. You can only intercede what you can. You got to keep following up with the candidate. You got to tell the candidate to keep calling you back. You know, you call the VP. I mean, I just did a deal like this. You know, I dropped it's funny. I mean, I told the client I wasn't going to really work with him anymore after it anyway, after the deal closed. It was a big, you know, $45,000 commission. The VP got fired 2 weeks later, actually, because it was a putz. He was screwing up the deals. He cost another deal a couple weeks earlier.
I don't think putz is in the executive recruiting parlay.
It is on this show. On this show, it's a nice term. Okay.
Enjoy working for yourself with no HR.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice?
But
You know, Julie, I'll just tell you, Rich sends emails, recruiting emails to people he doesn't know. Says he still want to work for an asshole or tired of working for an asshole.
That's
the
what I
subject
said.
line.
it was $8 sign.
No, it's
dollar
actually
Yes.
Dave's comment. It's actually, do you want to work for a Schmendrick? That's
Yeah,
better.
there you go.
Okay.
sign. Exactly.
Okay. But what about what can go wrong? You said that's a red flag. What can go
Huge
wrong
flag.
if the
Because you have no control over anything that's going on. You can't intercede. You can't give your opinion. You can't help sway. You can't help clear up a mistake. You know, I just had this earlier this morning. The guy had the wrong. The company had they thought my guy was selling at a lower level. He wasn't. You had to be able to clear it up. If you can't talk to the guy, how do you clear up the mistakes? You know.
anybody want to agree with Rich or disagree? Anybody? Nobody wants to get involved? I'll tell you what someone else said. I'll tell you what someone else said, and it's disagreeing with Rich. It said, this business, the recruiting business, is so overloaded with bullshit about client and candidate
Right.
control. You don't have control. It's just an illusion.
You're
okay?
right. That's not control. It's influence. Different. You can influence. You can't control.
But you know what? Google Meet just gave me a message. It didn't come from Dave. It says reducing noise. Thank you, Google. Okay, reducing noise. Maybe, at least they didn't say you said bullshit. Shame on you. Shame on you.
It's going to beep you out.
Okay, who wants to raise it? We're getting near the end. Who wants to raise an issue? Anybody? You got something bugging you, Richie Rich?
Yeah. How's the market nowadays, Rich? How is it? Is it improving or what?
It's picking up. I mean, it's busy. It's just, you know, I'm not saying all the searches are A-class searches right now, but I've got about 8 really good searches, and I got
What do
about
you focus on?
software sales, reps, execs,
Oh, okay.
sales, all for early stage companies.
Oh, cool.
So,
Very nice.
so you think that tech market is going to improve right now? Because we have had a doozy of a year.
Yeah, I think it's going to definitely improve. I think, you know, Q1 is going to be bumpy as usual. You know, it starts off, January starts off carryover, and then February is a little bit of a lull. March is, you know, mix, and then it starts picking up in April, you know.
All right.
Usually how it goes. So I think it's going to be the same. I mean, I think it's going to be, you know, like this year was a more of a standard year than the last, you know, 10 years have been essentially. So, I mean, if you can't build rapport and you can't build, you know, referenceable business, people that want to come to you, it's a struggle. I mean, the response rates are super low from BD
Coast
outreach.
to coast. He's coast to coast, David M. Moore.
Yeah,
Okay,
true.
okay,
I've
enough of
seen the
that.
difference now.
Okay.
Let me just ask.
Yeah.
Go ahead. He's the best person to ask here.
No, go ahead.
He's
You
involved in
finish it. No,
software
I can
sales.
edit it out. I can edit. If it's boring, I'll just take it out. Okay. You want to ask him another question? Go ahead.
No, it's cool. Rich, thanks for the answer.
Anytime.
Appreciate it.
Mario, anytime.
Okay.
Where are you located, Rich? Where in the Northeast are you?
I'm in Boston. Outside of Boston.
Oh, okay. In Boston or in the burbs?
On the burbs, like 20 minutes southwest. Why, where are you?
You listen to Julie for a second and tell me where she's from.
I would guess New York, you know?
Raleigh.
No, I am from New York, but I do live in Raleigh.
Where,
Raleigh.
So are you
It's like
towards like Framingham and Westwood? Are you
yeah,
like that?
that's the town next, actually.
Raleigh is Andy of Mayberry country, isn't
Right,
it?
where in New York,
That's further out. Mount Airy is all the way west.
yeah,
Oh,
where in New York are you from?
I'm from New York. I grew
No, I
up
know,
on
where-
the island.
Like my mom's from Forest Hills. I got all my friends are all from Long Island, so
Oh,
my
I
cousins are all-
I grew up in Rockville Center,
Oh, okay, sure.
and my grandmother did live in Forest Hills.
Like everyone's at the time.
Right?
Oakley Dokley. Okay. Here's one.
We're boring the animal. Sorry.
Recruiter says, I spend a good deal. We have an obligation to the audience, okay, Rich? They are waiting
four
for
people.
us every week. What comes out of our lips, okay, about for their guidance,
Yes.
okay? So here's the last issue, okay? Then you guys can talk about whatever you want, okay? Recruiter says, I spend a good deal of time preparing my candidates for their interviews, no matter what the level of the job. Listen to this. I also send them a 60-page interviewing guide that I've compiled over the years, and I'm not going to share it with you, okay? They told us 60 pages. That's crazy. But anyway, he said,
As a recruiter, does not make a lot of money, I'm guessing.
I don't know. He said, I've got a candidate for a director level job, 46 years old, and I didn't tell him not to use the F word when he goes out for interviews. He said fuck all the time, and they just ruled him out. Okay.
You think?
Well, there is something about decorum. I mean,
Exactly. You know, time and a place.
Okay, well, hold on. If they came back and said, look, we don't like the way this guy, he's not professional. Look at how he talks. Would you go back and fight with him? Would you go on if you thought he was a good candidate?
He's representing you. It's embarrassing. You can't have a guy going and drop like he's on the Animal Show and drop all the F-bombs all day long. I mean, if you're going to go for a leadership role and you're going to just do that in an interview, what are you going to do on, day 3 of the job?
Are you telling me that none of your clients talk like that when they're talking to you?
Well, to talk to me, it's a little different. And they don't drop every other word. You may slip one here or there, but I mean.
What if you thought he was a good candidate? Wouldn't you fight for him? You just said, fight for him, fight for him.
I think you have to have more in-depth conversation and find out what motivates him to say that.
That's how he talks.
You can't have him in there. In today's world, you're going to offend someone. You're opening up to a lawsuit for, PTSD or something from it. Like I lost a deal a couple weeks ago because a guy got essentially a mohawk. I told you this. I'm like, it's going to grow back by the time the guy starts his job. He's having a full head of hair.
That's one of those squirrel cuts. It's not a mohawk, okay? Those are in style for normal people.
Now when you're selling to lawyers, it's not a good look. If you're on the side of the jury box, maybe it's a good look.
But nobody said, I tell my candidates to speak in a professional way and not to swear. Julie, are you going to tell me that with your director level jobs, you say, listen, Billy, don't talk naughty when you go into that office?
Well,
I'll bet you don't do that.
You would like to hope that people at a certain level know how to behave and conduct themselves. I'm not saying people do it 100% of the time. I mean, I remember years ago, I was in college and I was working in retail, and there was a senior executive came down to walk the floor because they used to come and walk the floors. I worked in White Flint, Washington, and he was cursing away and everybody was shocked. And it just devalues who you are, and it makes what you say less meaningful and worthwhile.
Okay, well, here's
I mean,
my
it
question.
happens. We all are guilty of it. It does happen, but it shouldn't happen every 5th or 6th word.
Okay, but if this guy talked like that normally, wouldn't you think he would have talked like that to the recruiter already? And the recruiter would have had an opportunity to say, hey, cool it when you go in there.
We're not there. We don't know.
If he couldn't control himself when he was in the office with the company, surely he must have talked to the recruiter the same way.
Because it could have been the client could have excelled.
Maybe the hiring manager was swearing like a sailor.
Well, that's the thing that happens too, and then they only hear the other side. But also, you get a guy that he drops it once or twice, and to this guy, it's like every other word. Like I started recording my interviews, like when my clients interview my candidates. And their perception of what happens oftentimes, is so far from reality. You go back and watch the video and you're like, no, this is what he was talking about. This is what he said. He answered it this way because you said this. And that has actually saved me on a couple of deals in the short time I've been doing this. It is amazing.
You do it all the time now?
Now I do. It
depends where you live if you can do that. That's also the other thing.
Yeah, doesn't care. I don't care. They can turn it off if they don't like it, but they can't. Or they can hang up the Zoom. Like I do have some people, they'll just get off the Zoom and restart their own. Don't care. It's right there. It tells them it's being recorded. If they don't want to be on it, hang up.
Yeah, but there's in some places, even if both parties know they're being recorded, you can't do it. That's all.
Really, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, where is
Okay.
that? If both parties agree to it, which they do by being on,
Yeah,
'Cause it-
sometimes you can't. So it's just something, I mean, I was in a meeting last night for something totally different and I had to tell people it was being recorded and they were flipping out. It was fine to record them, but they were flipping out.
yeah, well,
Okay,
it's
but Rich, are you there with them? Are
No,
you
no,
there?
just one of my recorders, like a note taker.
Bye, David and Mark. Okay, we're gonna leave in
Yeah,
a minute
but I mean,
anyway.
As
But
long
does
as
that happen? You can set it up so it automatically
yeah, I'll do it.
records.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
MetaView. I used Track AI. You know, even the Zoom recorder can it just sets it to
And
automatic.
so you don't tell them in advance. You say, "Look, Bob." Oh, I don't know. Wow.
It's
Okay.
on when they're there. It's not hidden. It's plainly. It's in plain sight.
Well, if you're not used to it, you're not going to notice it necessarily. Okay.
Well,
I would warn them. Okay. I think it's an invasion of privacy if you don't.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay. You don't. Okay.
I
Okay.
think it's there. They can see it. It's in plain sight. I can't help if they don't look. It's like I didn't see a stop sign either. I'm not used to driving here. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, look at how this guy argues. Okay, I'll have to leave that to next time. Anybody want to raise an issue, or are we done?
It's
We're done
healthy
here, I think.
discourse. It's not an argument.
Julie, you don't have a website, do you,
Julie, please come on again, Julie. We need
I
someone
don't have,
reining
I
the
don't have
animal.
a website.
You know, Julie, I'm going to give you a bit of advice that I give to lots of people, and they never take it. Okay,
Your
get a
toast is not ready.
URL.
It's not ready, animal.
Get a domain name for $20 that's easy to remember. It could be your name, juliemarcus.com, and point it to your LinkedIn. So you could say, a recruiting animal, I'm at juliemarcus.com. Everybody can remember that, or fantasticrecruiter.com instead of, anyway, that's my advice.
Thank
Julie
you.
Marcus, everybody. She was sent
Nice to
here
meet
by David
everybody.
M. Marr. Everybody thinks
Thank
she's
you
great.
so much.
MarioTheRecruiter.com, Cornerstone Search. Thank you, everybody.
Have a good one. Bye.
See you all next week.
They got-
Goodbye.